Right, so I make it exactly 7:30. Good evening, everybody, and welcome. I'm going to be your host this evening, and I'm going to be introducing you to your gut microbiome, talking about stress, and in particular, silent stress. We're going to discover what DNA and nutrigenetics is and what it can show you. And I'm also going to show you what our solution to a problematic gut is, the Purify program. My name is Nicola Kenworthy, and I'm an elite health coach with Synergy Worldwide, and I'm also a lymphatic massage therapist. My friend and colleague, Debbie Atkins, give everybody a wave, Debbie. She will also be presenting part of the webinar, so you'll find out more about her later. Kim Bradley, my friend and mentor, give us a wave, Kim, will be taking care of the chat. So if any of you have any questions, please just pop them in the chat box and Kim will get back to you. At the beginning of this pandemic, every roll of toilet paper in the country disappeared off the shelves and nobody understood why. Loo roll became like gold dust. And actually, when you think about it, it's probably just as valuable. This roll of paper is probably the most important paper you will use on a daily basis. How often and how much or how little of the stuff you use is a huge indicator of what is going on in your bowels and subsequently your health. The ancient Greek physician Hippocrates is well known for saying all disease begins in the gut. And science is now well on its way to proving just how true that statement is. Maybe not all disease, but an awful lot of it. Your gut bacteria and the integrity of your gut lining strongly affect your health. And according to numerous studies, undesirable bacterial products called endotoxins can sometimes leak through your gut lining and enter your bloodstream. Your immune system then recognizes these foreign molecules and attacks them, resulting in chronic inflammation. So even after 2,000 years, Hippocrates is still someone worth listening to. And whilst we're talking about how the gut influences our health, taking it back a step, we have to look at what we put into our bodies. And as the saying goes, you are what we eat, although we now know that that's not strictly true. We are what we absorb. We can compare it to reading a book. I know I can read a page about 10 times and take nothing in, and then that information on the page is of no use to me. The same with food, but if you can absorb the nutrients, the information, then your body can make use of it. This list represents just some of the common ailments that people struggle with every day. I'm sure that you or someone you know will have suffered from one or more of these at some time. And all of these things have some reference back to the health of our gut microbiome. So let's talk about that. The microbiome is the name for all the genetic microbes, the bacteria, fungi, protozoa, and viruses that live on and inside us. There are over 10,000 different species so far discovered by scientists, and the largest collection exists in our gut. A good way to look at the role your gut microbiome plays is to think of a tree. When the roots, your gut microbiome in this case, are not nourished correctly, then the tree as a whole cannot function at its best. But if you provide the right nourishment, then the roots begin to function to their optimal capacity, and then the tree looks and functions at its best, just like you and your gut microbiome. Our gut microbiome is made up of symbionts, the good guys, and the pathobionts, the bad guys. It's important to have the right balance between the two, and we actually need both in the right quantities. Optimally, we should have about 85% good guys and about 15% bad guys. If we have the wrong ratio, then we experience gut dysbiosis or imbalance. Having the right balance is critical for optimal health, as our microbiome affects so many aspects of our lives. For example, our mood. Are you aware that 90% of the serotonin, or also known as the happy hormone, is produced in your gut? Perhaps you have trouble sleeping. That could be due to a shortage of melatonin, the darkness hormone, which encourages good sleep, again produced in the gut. We'll touch on stress later in this talk, but to suffice to say that dopamine, the motivation hormone, oxytocin, the love, trust, and self-esteem, and noradrenaline, which gives you your get up and go, are all produced in the gut when it's in the right balance. Add to that food cravings, weight management, digestion and metabolism, brain health, fertility, and many other things, and you can see how important having a balanced gut microbiome is. So what can affect our gut microbiome? We will touch on some of these areas in more detail in a moment, but as you can see, there are a range of things, some of which are easier to affect than others. A good way to look at it is to think of a continuum, with the poorest health at one end and optimal health at the other. We are all travelling along this path, and the choices we make and the environment we live in affect the direction of travel. Each individual action we take may not in itself push us very far, but the continued choices repeated over time determine the overall speed and direction. So let's look at some of the main causes to microbiome imbalance. Of course, diet is a major factor. Remember, we are what we absorb, but it's not quite as simple as just saying don't eat this and do eat that. Over the last 50 years, we have as consumers demanded our foods to be provided to us in an easier, longer lasting, more colourful ways. And this has had an impact on the nutrition of the foods we consume today. That burger, for example, was made to look healthy, but is it? Our desire to keep food shelf stable for longer, to look more appetizing, to have low fat or low sugar alternatives, has meant that we have moved from food which pretty much did what it said on the box to something else entirely. We have sacrificed good quality nutrition for ease and convenience. We can blame the manufacturers to an extent, but ultimately they're delivering what we're demanding. We also have, by and large, a diet that's low in fermented foods. Now, these are an excellent source of nutrition to help rebalance your gut microbiome. But what I would like to add here, you can get kimchi, sauerkraut, kefir, you can get it all in health food shops and in supermarkets, but please be careful because a lot of the sauerkraut that you buy in supermarkets isn't live, and it needs to be live to get that good bacteria. Another area that affects our health is the environment around us. With the current lockdown and restrictions, there was definitely an improvement, but already we can see that that's starting to disappear again. We even have traffic warnings again now. Whilst there are aspects of environmental pollution that we can affect through education and changing mindsets, I want to touch on persistent organic pollutants, or POPs. POPs can have a significant effect on human health and the environment. We are exposed to POPs in a variety of ways, mainly through the food we eat, but also through the air we breathe and in many products used in our daily lives. Examples are surfactants, like detergents, emulsifiers, foaming agents, and dispersants. As a result, POPs can be found virtually everywhere on our planet in measurable concentrations, and that means they're also found on us. Our body has its own mechanisms for dealing with these toxins, which we will discover later. Another result of our desire to experience food that is more attractive, available all year round and more hardy is the extra pressure this puts on farming methods. In order to meet the demands, farmers pick crops earlier and earlier or use other methods like tree spraying to keep the fruit and vegetables healthier looking for longer. The end result of these changes in farming is that our soil, which has its own microbiome, has seen a huge drop in the nutrients that it can provide to the food that is grown in it. In 2008, a Swiss study looked at all the main ingredients you would find in a salad back in 1970 and compared the nutritional depletion of each food item to determine how many ready-made salads you would need to eat to replicate the same level of nutrition. Can you guess how many salads would be needed? Is it 5, maybe 10, even 20? Well, actually, it's 47 salads with the same ingredients in 2008 to match the nutritional value. And we think we're being ultra healthy when we walk into the supermarket at lunchtime and grab a pre-made salad for lunch. Our lifestyle also has a major part to play. This is the kind of positive imagery we see a lot today of entrepreneurs and office people working in completely fulfilling jobs, enjoying their work. But all too often, the reality is very different. with stress, a lack of exercise, and unhealthy snacking leading to too many health problems, both mentally and physically. Now, my story is an example of this. I was cabin crew for 26 years, and whilst glamorous to some, and it had its moments, it also involved nights out of bed, jet lag, lots of drinking, overindulging in food from around the world, and then more drinking. And then 2 years into my flying career, my mum died suddenly from a massive coronary heart attack at the age of 55. To say it rocked my world goes without saying. My dad had had his first heart attack at 49. I changed my diet and lifestyle because I didn't want it to happen to me. I went on with my life working as cabin crew, and 3 years later, I was covered from head to foot in blisters. To cut a long story short, there were my body's cry for help, and some counselling helped me deal with the grief that I'd buried inside me, and the blisters went away. What I didn't realise was that even though those blisters had gone, my gut was so damaged from the silent stress of buried grief that had been going on inside me, and then years of various autoimmune conditions followed. Then I was introduced to Synergy and learned about the gut and began to heal. I got caught out again when I left my career as cabin crew 3 years ago. After going on strike in 2010, all the pent-up anger from the 7 years since the strike and the toxic drip of corporate bullying took its toll on my body. This time I knew what to do straight away. Stress isn't always obvious. Be very aware of the silent, subliminal stress that is buried deep inside you and the devastation it is wreaking on your body, and in particular your gut. As a society, we have a heavy reliance on medication. Whilst antibiotics are essential when we really need them, our overuse of them, as well as many other daily pharmaceutical medications, are causing problems for our gut. Antibiotics wipe out good and bad alike. It is estimated that after a 2-week course of antibiotics, your microbiome can take up to 6 months to rebalance if you do not help it with probiotic supplementation. So all the things here can affect our microbiome. Let's look at what happens. In many cases, the first thing that happens is that the bad or negative bacteria begin to produce endotoxins. Endotoxins are lipopolysaccharides, shortened to LPS, and they are found in the outer membrane of gram-negative bacteria, or bad bacteria as we have called them in this talk. These endotoxins then travel to various parts of your body, causing inflammation and ultimately metabolic dysfunction in one or more of your core systems. For some people, the lining of the gut wall can become damaged. This lining, called the intestinal mucosal barrier, consists of a single layer of cells. The junction between these cells are usually kept very tight, and you can see this in the left-hand side of the picture. However, when bad bacteria attacks this gut lining, it can cause what doctors call intestinal permeability and what we know as leaky gut syndrome. People suffering from this syndrome can experience a range of conditions due to bacteria, toxins, and sometimes even undigested food passing through these leaky junctions into the bloodstream. This then causes the body to react by trying to defend itself, causing systemic inflammation, which is the body's normal defense mechanism towards what it thinks is an attack. In 2010, a neuroscientist whose name I can't pronounce discovered that cells in the gut, which produce the hormones that spur digestion, suppress hunger, and many other functions, can send messages directly to the brain through our vagus nerves. Now, they're not always positive message, they can be negative too. Have you ever had that craving for chocolate? I'm sure many of you are nodding now. Well, that's the bad bacteria in your gut screaming out via the vagus nerve to your brain, and it's just going, give me chocolate. So the next time that happens to you, just say no. It's not you, it's your bad bacteria. And have you ever wondered why you had that gut feeling or the time you felt butterflies in your stomach? If you're suffering from leaky gut, however, the messages sent can affect autoimmune diseases, anxiety, depression, foggy thinking, poor memory, and tiredness. So there's no need to take my word for it. Here's a 2-minute summary about why the microbiome is so important from some of our country's leading health experts.
Evidence is mounting that the gut, which contains 70 to 80% of our immune tissue, could have an even greater impact on our overall health than once thought.
They say all health leads to and comes from the gut, don't they? And this is a massive deal.
So your gut is surprisingly clever because you have what's called the second brain down there.
The bacteria that live in your gut, your microbiomes, known as trillions of them living in your gut, but have effect in all sorts of different systems in your body.
The microbiota is at the centre of so many different things. I think of it as sort of as a bicycle wheel. The microbiota is the hub, and at the end of all the spokes is everything from irritable bowel syndrome to inflammatory bowel disease like Crohn's disease, right through even to perhaps the way that we behave.
Our guts, or rather what we put in them, get a lot of attention these days. Clean living celebrities and diet trends claiming what we eat influences our overall well-being, even our mental health.
Because we know that the microbes in your gut also help control your weight. They control your cravings. They send messages to your brain. The brain in your gut talks to the brain in your head and vice versa. It sends messages.
That's interesting.
So when you talk about, having thinking with your gut, going with your gut, that is literally true. Your gut is talking to your brain and telling it stuff.
The brain-gut axis, we've been used to thinking about it as doctors as something where the brain controls the gut. And now there's emerging evidence that possibly the microbiota, the bacteria living in our gut, may well be influencing the brain. So it goes the other way too. And that's fascinating, I think, and that's new.
Gut health is all the rage these days, and that's because over the last 5 or 10 years we've started to realise that the health of our gut doesn't only affect our digestion, but things like bloating and how we feel in our tummies. It affects our overall health and well-being as well.
Perhaps the most important thing here for me as a practicing doctor is the use of antibiotics. That if people realise what they were doing to their forgotten organ by taking antibiotics when they often don't need them, they would think twice.
We know that the microbes in your gut also teach your immune system how to behave.
Okay.
Which is a really weird thought. It's like your granny teaching the kids how to behave.
Now, if the world of gut health and the microbiome wasn't exciting enough, I'm now going to talk to you about the world of DNA and nutrigenics and how this can massively help you change your health. There's a phrase used in the world of DNA and nutrigenetics, and that is your genes load the gun, but it's your lifestyle that pulls the trigger. It's no secret that a balanced diet plays a vital role in health, and that unhealthy foods can cause considerable damage in the long run. However, what is healthy for one person may cause significant problems for another. These differences lie in our genes and the variations that some of them have. We now know that these gene variations influence our nutritional requirements on a daily basis. This becomes clear, for example, with known problems such as lactose and gluten intolerances, but it's also important for a variety of other complaints. The results from your DNA test provide important information about individual strengths and weaknesses and how we utilize different nutrients and help us select the right foods for our body. This is not just vitally important for your overall health, but is also a secret weapon in improving how your body functions in sport. It's not without reason that they say the best thing an athlete can do to improve their performance is to pick the right parents. Imagine knowing what nutrition works best for you. My results showed that I have a faulty APOA1 gene. There's nothing I can do about it. Our genes never change. But what it means for me is that if I were to take an omega-3 supplement, it would have the opposite effect on me. It would actually raise my cholesterol. And believe you and me, with my family history, that's something I really don't want to do. Imagine the power of knowing which foods and supplements you should be buying to get the best out of your body, and which to avoid in case they trigger a dormant genetic defect. The DNA test also gives you over 900 food recommendations. One column is for overall health and the other column is for the sports performance. We also have these 2 free DNA and nutrigenetic ebooks. So if you get in touch with the person who invited you to this talk, then they will send those over to you. I just unshare that. And I'd like to ask Valerie now to share her testimonial. Valerie is a former patient of mine, a friend and a team member. And Valerie, over to you.
Thank you, Nicola. So yes, my name is Valerie, and I'm really pleased to share my experience with you today. I met Nicola 3 years ago. At the time, I was undergoing a series of 3 operations under general anesthesia to treat a disorder called lipodema. And I had lost 8% of my mobility due to this condition, and not mentioning the impact on my self-confidence and morale. Nicola was my lymphatic therapist, and she was amazing, helping me in many different ways. And I was very eager to recover quickly. And we started discussing synergy products. Nicola, being, you know, such a caring person, I confided in her about other personal struggles I had at the time. A few years before, with my 2 sons, we had a traumatic experience, which after the 3 of us were diagnosed with PTSD, and meaning that really high level of stress, anxiety, loss of confidence and concentration. From being very sociable, happy, physically active, we all became really withdrawn, not wanting to leave the house. Any kind of commitment was triggering anxiety attacks, impossible to concentrate and forget brain, no physical activities, you know, the whole thing. My sons, previously excellent in their studies, were struggling to finish their degrees, of course. They couldn't concentrate, and we were all in a very bad place. And it was very hard to overcome this handicapping state, and we didn't want to take medication. My eldest managed to finish his studies and relocated to Luxembourg with his partner for a job, and my youngest stayed with me, and we were both trying to support each other the best we could. As a mother, you know, struggling with your own, you know, demons and limitations, and trying to help your kids is yes, double challenging. And I was particularly worried of my youngest because he was really the shadow of himself and couldn't see the meaning of life. So before trying the synergy product, I was very cautious also, and I needed to know more. So Nicola kindly shared with me all the useful links available. And then I made myself, you know, my own research on the benefits of arginine, on the gut health, and finding all the links on brain cognition and mental health. So I had no doubt, you know, we had to give it a go. But of course, I was struggling financially. When you lose confidence and you can't apply for a good job or position yourself in the corporate world. So any expense had to be strongly assessed. So we started with Arginine Plus with my youngest son, and it was a shock. Sorry, gosh. After 3 weeks, he said, "The weather is nice. I'm going to ride my bicycle." And then, oh, sorry. It was a very difficult time. And then he came and said, you know, I know what I want to do in life, and started to speak about a career plan. At last, he was thinking of the future and was getting out of the house, literally. So it was a moving time for us, and a turning point, I would say, so I shouldn't cry. So then we decided to do the Purify kit, really, initially to clean up my system after the operations, and my son accepted to do the 21-day program with me. We both immediately saw an incredible improvement. Immediate effect, really, no foggy brain. I could concentrate, make plans, take decisions, had a lot of energy. And for my youngest, I think the best is to give you a simple example. He did set himself 3 goals for the year. So get his motorbike driving license, buy his dream car, and finish his degree. by June he had achieved the 3 goals. When his brother came for Christmas and saw the incredible change in his brother, he said, oh, I want to do the Purify Kit. I want to try. And his partner said, I'll do it with him. So they've done it. And Natasha called me and said, I can't believe the change. Before he was struggling with social commitment, and suddenly he was the one arranging, you know, weekends away with friends, evenings, dinners, sorting out all admin stuff that was on hold for ages. Had a conversation with his manager about his career progression, simply because his mental capacity is back. He was bored with the task he was given, and more importantly, he was confident to have this conversation. Last December, when discussing Christmas arrangement with my eldest and his partners, I asked them what they wanted for Christmas. And his reply in a split second was, we want our Purify Kit. If you can get that for us. So as a parent, it's good to know that you can give something to your kids to make them feel better and healthier. So now we are all so much better in our life. We continue the Project 9+ daily. We do Purify Kits at least annually, and keeping a healthy diet. Myself, I use other products as well. And when we had no idea of the gut health impact on our life, we had no solutions. Now we have this awareness, and when we can feel the need, you know, to do a Purify Kit, just to maintain these full mental and physical capacities. Just a quick summary. So now my youngest finished his degree, relocated for a job in motorsport, fully back on all his sport activities, and setting himself tons of crazy goals and objectives. But he's progressing. My eldest is continuing his career progression, social life, and started Aikido, something he wanted to do for a long time. And myself, I applied for a better job, got it. And I walk on average 1-2 hours daily, which is kind of freedom after what I experienced. And with the lockdown, I was concerned, so closely monitored the boys, but they did extremely well, no sign of anxiety. So honestly, I would recommend to anyone, just try, you see the results, and you will want your loved ones to take the products and share with others. So thank you, Nicola. Thank you for helping us. And that's it.
Thank you, Valerie. I'm so delighted that you're all doing so well now. And yes, your testimonial never fails to move me either. It's just wonderful. I'd now like to introduce my friend and colleague, Debbie Atkins. Debbie is an elite health coach with Synergy Worldwide, a personal trainer, a Nordic walker, and a regional director with Athena. She's a busy lady, and she is going to take you through the Purify program. Over to you, Debbie.
Thank you very much, Nicola, for your welcome and for inviting me to speak about our solution, the Purify program. So, if you think of your gut as a garden, so we can use the science of nutrigenetics to find out exactly what foods are best suited for our gut. But what can we do to help get our gut back to its optimal state now? Well, it helps to imagine that you've just moved house and your gut is the garden in your new house. It needs bringing back to its best. The previous owner didn't really spend a lot of time taking care and taking responsibility to looking after it. So 4 steps to create optimal gut health. Our guts, like a garden, need fertilizing. This is done through taking prebiotics, which contain unique non-digestible plant fibers, such as inulin, which can, for example, be found in garlic beans, onions, chicory root, asparagus, leafy green vegetables. The next step is to colonize our gut garden with probiotics. So this is cultured or fermented foods that contain good bacteria. For example, the natural yogurt, kefir and sauerkraut. And as Nicola said, in respect to making sure there's no added sugar and not highly processed, pickles and certain cheeses. Enriching your garden with nutrients is essential. We call them Purify friendly foods, and the next slide just shows you a selection of a few of them. So as you can see, there are a great selection of foods that are very healthy for us to eat to help get our guts back on track. If you're buying salmon, then wild salmon is a better choice to make. Just look at the variety and array of colours. This is what is good to look for when you're shopping. So the last part is very important of the process. That is about pulling out those weeds. It's about removing any toxins that have accumulated in your body. So why detox? It has been mentioned previously about the body having its own mechanisms for protecting itself from the toxins. So let me explain to you how this works. The body understands the dangers that these toxins present to us, so it calls in the troops, which are known to us as fat cells. So fat cells can surround the toxins, providing a shield between them and the body. So they're doing their job to protect ourselves. Unfortunately, if we diet without first removing the toxins, then the fat in the cells is burnt away as we lose weight, leaving the toxins free again to roam around our system and create a lot of mischief. This is one reason why we can feel unwell if we lose a lot of weight quickly. So we have no protection against the toxins. Of course, our body is very, very clever. It knows what to do. It creates more fat in our cells. We can suffer from yo-yo dieting if we do not first remove the toxins, and yo-yo dieting has been proven to put our body under even more stress, which leaves us deflated and unwell. So, if we can make sure that we perform a cellular detox first, then when the fat in the cells is removed as part of normal weight loss, there are very few toxins remaining. That we need to be protected from. So the body doesn't need to create new fat, leading to more energy and more healthy muscle being built. So back in 2016, not many people outside the scientific community were talking about our microbiome and how it affected our health. And it was certainly not on TV or in the press like it is today. We were intrigued about a new program called Purify, which had been initially developed in the Research and Innovation Laboratory of Synergy Worldwide in Utah. Our team decided to become first of the trial groups in Europe, and I was one of the people trialing it. The results were simply staggering, and we were very proud to say the team have taken thousands of people successfully through the program since then. So eliminate the toxins, eliminate the fat. Although this is not a weight loss program, if you detox correctly using Purify, then both the toxins and the fat in the cells are eliminated from the body, resulting in weight loss from toxic fat. So what are the benefits of a healthy gut for sports and fitness? For many people who perform sports and exercise, either as a leisure activity or professionally, having a healthy gut microbiome gives them some serious benefits. Having a balanced gut microbiome enables nutrients to be absorbed better, as well as removing the things we don't want more effectively. The program, this can result in an increase in muscle mass, reduce recovery times, which has been shown to be very beneficial for reducing inflammation in joints. The program itself enables you to gain a competitive edge with a clean performance boost. And having my youngest son as an elite athlete, a European and world kayaking champion, I know firsthand how important it is for faster recovery rates and keeping inflammation low. Purify is a comprehensive lifestyle transformation program. It's a 21-day program consisting of high protein, high phytonutrient, low carbohydrate nutrition plan, and as well as targeted nutritional supplementation, all of which have specific roles to play, and I will cover these in a minute. But before that, you and your gut need exercise. We need to move. Alongside the Purify program are light exercise guidelines, as in order to function at the best level, both you and your gut need exercise. We need to get you moving in the right direction, so to speak. Elite Health Purify. So what do you get in the Purify kit to help you succeed and rebalance your microbiome? You get all the tools you need to help you start to detox your body at a cellular level, cleanse the pathways, and get you back to feeling your best. Think back to the first slides, my first slides about the 4 stages of optimal gut health. Patented ProRG9. A patented supplement product means that it must make a positive change in the body for it to be registered as a patent. It is the first item in our armoury. It's the ProRG9, which is the direct result of research that won the 1998 Nobel Prize for Medicine. Dr. Joe Prendergast took the research on combining L-arginine with L-citrulline to boost the production of nitric oxide in the body and formulated ProRG9. In 2008, he was awarded Father of the Year by the US Diabetes Association in recognition for how many people he had helped. This formulation is quoted in the US Physician's Desk reference as the highest, best quality L-arginine supplement in the world. And apart from its amazing cardiovascular helping properties, its job in Purify is to increase circulation. As the faster we can get our detoxing done and start taking in those right nutrients, the quicker and better we will feel. Of course, as it acts as a very powerful blood circulation booster, it also has benefits in other ways. So for me personally, it is this product where my synergy journey began, as on both sides of my family, I have stroke and heart issues. Being a personal trainer does not eliminate me from these risks. I was getting older, as we all are naturally, and I felt I needed more. And to me, this product is my go-to product, as I now understand why our bodies produce nitric oxide and the amazing health benefits that it brings. So Biome DT. This is a patent pending formula. Our next powerful ally, Biome DT, which has been formulated to remove the heavy metals and other toxins, the POPs, from our system. The zinc in the Biome DT helps to clean and soothe our digestive system, as well as supporting the detoxifying function. It is high in inulin and glutamine, and it helps repair gut lining, tightening those leaky junctions and stopping endotoxins from sneaking into our bloodstream. So think back to Nicola's slide showing the gut lining and what havoc is created within the body if we've got leaky junctions. So now moving on to the Biome Shake vegetable protein. It's pea protein and highly bioavailable. To help our body repair itself and start to get it in the right ratio of the good guys and the bad guys, Biome Shake is a great meal replacement, which you will use for 1 week on the program. It has broccoli and zinc in it to help with detoxification, and it comes in a vanilla flavor that you can also add fruit to if you want to really make a tasty smoothie on the go. Biome Actives, the microbiome balance. Now we come to the foot soldiers, our troops of mass construction, colony-forming spores specifically chosen to survive the perilous journey down your digestive system and into their forward operating base, your gut. Many shop-bought pre- and probiotics may sound good, they may sound fantastic, but they are simply not strong enough to survive the journey to the gut in order to do their job. These guys are, and they help your gut bacteria towards the correct ratio of good guys and bad guys. So Body Prime, helping to prime your digestion. Lastly, and by that I mean at the business end, the detox process, we have Body Prime. The purpose of detoxing is to eliminate things that you don't want from your body. Now, you have several choices of where things can exit and how, but I think most of us would like that process to be easy and efficient as possible. So think back to Nick's first slide about the loo roll. This is where Body Prime kicks in with magnesium and apple and prune pectin. It just makes our body do what it needs to do in the best and gentlest way. Elite Health Purify. So these are all the tools that you need to succeed with Purify. To help you, there is a 36-page guide to show you what you need to do and when you need to do it. It gives advice on Purify-friendly foods, as well as a section on recipe ideas. It is packed full of information to help you on your journey. So now I'm going to hand back to Nicola, who is going to go through the lifestyle analysis questionnaire, and thank you for listening.
So thank you, Debbie. Let's see if this works. There we are, wonderful. So that is the Purify programme, and we recommend starting with a lifestyle analysis session, which takes about half an hour, and it's a great way to see how you're functioning before you do the programme. So we can determine the level of success the programme has in every part of your body and where we need to target the efforts. The programme works in 3 phases: prepare the body, detox the gut, and build on the new you. Each of the phases is fully documented in the Purify guide that you get with your programme. But once the programme is over, we redo the lifestyle analysis so that you can see the improvements that you've made. And it's one of the most fulfilling parts of the programme when you get to see the transformation in your body. Among the thousands of people who've successfully done the Purify, these are typically what we see, the typical results. Some people experience 2 or 3 of these, and some even more, depending on what their starting point was. The person who invited you to this talk can point you towards some of the many testimonials that we've received from all these happy purifiers. The Purify programme costs £195. Now that's including all the nutritional supplements you need for 21 days, the full 36-page programme guide, recipe ideas, exercise advice, one-to-one support, and also a community support WhatsApp chat. If you're interested in the DNA test, then the DNA test retails at over £400 if you buy it directly from the laboratory. But Synergy have been working with the laboratory Novogenia, and they've brought together this fabulous offer of £369, and that includes the Purify programme and everything that was on the slide beforehand, and also the DNA test. So if you're ready to start your Purify journey, then please talk to the person that invited you to this talk. But whether you're ready to start the programme or not, you're still able to book a lifestyle analysis and the free lifestyle analysis. There's absolutely no obligation after this lifestyle analysis to do the programme, so it really is worth you taking advantage of it. The person who invited you will be contacting you to book in a session with you, and we'd also love any feedback that you have on this talk. We're learning as we're doing at the moment, so please, any suggestions are more than welcome. If you'd like to dig deeper into the science of the products, how the products are made, or about the business opportunity with Synergy Worldwide, then jump on our webinar at 7:30 tomorrow night. You know the drill. Ask the person who invited you to this webinar. I'd like to thank you all again for your time tonight and wish you well. Goodbye.